Modern Dude Chat is presented by the guys at Beard Supply. Check out the new oil releases, 1975 and Alpine, or restock on some of your old favorites. Visit beardsupply.com. Beard care for a wild life.
Hey guys, welcome to the Modern Dude Chat podcast. We're your hosts, Cody and Chuck. We have an exciting episode for you guys this week. We have our first guest on the Modern Dude Chat podcast. He's a solid guy, a good friend of mine. Stay tuned. We can't wait to share it with you.
Like Cody said, on this episode of Modern Dude Chat, we got our first guest. Ryan Wheat from Union Leather is joining us. He's going to tell us his story, tell us about Union Leather. He's actually going to hang out and kick it with us on a few segments. We're also going to touch on Instagram, Facebook. Congratulations, everybody. We survived the great outage of 2019. So we made it to the other side. We're going to jump into that. And also the college scandal. We're going to talk about these celebrities and people with wealth paying their kids to go to school. So
Yikes.
We got a loaded episode. Stay tuned. It is going to be awesome. Also, be sure to catch your exclusive Modern Dude Chat discount code for Beard Supply. Take that code, you'll hear it later in the episode, and use it at beardsupply.com. Let's do it. All right.
We're here.
Yes.
Another
Back
week.
again. This one's a little different.
Hey, I'm excited about this episode.
Me too.
Dude,
We're going to have some fun.
we have our first guest, Ryan Wheat of Union Leather. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Welcome.
I'm doing real well.
We're cruising. It's been a good weekend.
Yes.
Nice weather, finally.
Dude, perfect weekend.
Dude, perfect weekend.
I got to use my chainsaw. I got to burn something, and a baby was born this weekend. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Little shout out to Lucy Joe.
Hey.
Yeah,
nice.
Lucy Joe Randolph.
What is her relation to you?
Good friends.
Okay, good friends.
Yeah, good friends had a little baby girl, and she's gorgeous.
Right
she's
on.
so beautiful. Yeah.
Congrats.
They don't
to
get
those
better than
guys.
that.
Yeah, man.
Power tools and babies. Perfect.
Chainsaws and babies.
No, yeah, the weather's finally beautiful here in Texas. So
Which that started my honeydew list. So
right.
as soon as that weather was nice, my
I
wife
hear
stepped
you,
outside.
man.
She goes, "Oh, good. I have projects for you." So
yeah.
I spent all weekend outside.
Dude,
but
same
it
here.
was good.
We tried to be outside. We went to the park today. We had my son mow the yard. Just being outside.
Oh, you're in
was
that
nice.
sweet spot
Saint-
where he
Saint
can
Patty's
start
Day,
doing
too.
your chores.
Yeah, it was nice because actually, right before we went to the park, I was like, "Hey, I want you to mow the front yard, just the front, just get the front done." And then when I came back, the yard was mowed and done, and I was like, "Wow!"
And he
that easy.
listens even better.
So I had a yard that was mowed. So, anyways, yeah, great weather, and we're excited to have Ryan here with us, our first guest, Ryan Wheat of Union Leather, and this is a good time to kind of dive into what we're drinking this week. Don't you think?
Sure.
So.
No, yeah, it. We've already been sipping on this
Yeah,
one.
We've actually already been sipping on this whiskey.
But there's a special reason why we got this one.
Yeah, so-
and, jump on into it.
Yeah, so the whiskey we decided to have this week, obviously, because Ryan's here with us. Ryan actually did a collab with Yellow Rose out of Houston, Texas. He made a nice little kit. We're going to post some pictures on our Instagram, Twitter feed so you guys can check it out. But I may let Ryan just take it here and let him tell us how you got the gig, the collab with Yellow Rose, and this beautiful bottle of whiskey that we're enjoying right now.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about it?
Thunderous thud as a half-emptied bottle of Yellow Rose.
We've already dove in.
You really can't talk about the Union story without talking about Yellow Rose.
That's right, yeah.
And
Let's hear it.
it's actually a really neat thing because when I was talking with them, as we were working through some of the details on kind of our partnership, I told them right out of the gate that the cool thing about working with Yellow Rose meant that anytime I told the Union story about what was kind of the turning point for us, and Yellow Rose was going to be the cornerstone of that.
Nice.
And that's really what happened. And I wish that I could like impart some sort of secret sauce here and say that I was like this go-getter that went out and was like knocking on every distillery's door.
Right.
But the truth is it really happened out of a friendship and a relationship that I had with someone that kind of knew them by connection.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was actually a photographer friend of mine named Matt Henry.
Hey.
I am MattHenry.com.
I know that guy.
He's,
Hey, Matt's a great guy.
I'll
Shout
tell
out to
you,
Matt.
there isn't, you come in contact with people sometimes
Yeah.
that are so generous.
Right.
And I don't just mean generous in that like they write checks, but like they legitimately want to see you succeed, right?
Yeah.
Like there's people that when you do something good that either are going to like curse you behind closed doors because they're upset that you're doing well, or there's the people that want to see you succeed. Matt is one of those people.
Right on.
And so I wanted him to take, so this is actually a much longer
Do you want to tell us?
story.
Just tell us briefly, like how it happened. And Matt was part of that,
He
right?
was,
Is what
yeah.
you're saying, yeah.
So I brought you boys some
Yes, you did.
some coasters, right?
Thank
And-
you, by the way, man. That's
Absolutely.
dude. We'll post a picture of these
Badass.
coasters
Yeah,
too.
these are awesome.
Amazing. And go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Well, as we talk about generosity, I want to point out my own generosity here in the fact that I gave you guys these coasters. But these are all a corner. This is like the starting point of the story,
Right,
right? So.
right.
The coasters you have are the Raise 'em High and Bold coasters that
Yeah.
are on our website. So I designed these. And when I did, I legitimately thought this is my $1 million idea. Like these are super cool coasters. I'm going to make these and they're going to go gangbusters.
So that's I want to stop you real quick. So that's awesome to hear you say that you produce the coasters with the thought already in mind of like this is going to be a hit type thing, right?
yes.
So you already like thought that and you were bound to make that happen type thing.
Well, there's an asterisk,
Okay,
right?
okay.
I thought that this was going to be a great idea, and so I put them on the website.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it's been a full year since I posted them on the website, and I sold my first set 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Wow.
No way.
Okay, so not a booming success.
yeah.
All right. So,
But-
I've got this $1 million idea. I come up with these coasters. We put them on the website. Nobody buys one, and I'm sitting around going, okay, great. Like this is a complete failure, right? Well, I asked Matt to take some pictures of the coasters for the website, and he's working with a marketing agency at the time, and they had a Yellow Rose bottle on their shelf, and he said, hey, can I have that and use it for this photo shoot? And they said, absolutely. And so he takes a picture of that coaster
Right.
with that bottle of whiskey, and he is at a photo shoot with these folks later, and he shows them the picture, and they go, those are so cool. Like
Yeah.
we would love for Union to make some coasters for Yellow Rose.
Yeah.
And so, lo and behold, I get a phone call from the marketing agency that get two or 3 days later, and they wanted me to do a collaboration with them. Now, here's what's even crazier about this whole story is I was hand cutting those coasters, like with a box blade and a ruler, and this lady from the marketing agency calls me up and says, "Hey, will you make some coasters for us?" And I'm thinking, maybe 100 sets,
Yeah. Easy peasy.
piece of cake, right? She's like, we need 30,000 coasters.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And so I call a leather buddy of mine.
Were
and
you floored at that moment? Or were you just like,
I played it cool, man.
did you played it cool? But when you hung the phone up, what did you do specifically?
There were two. I made 2 phone calls.
Okay.
The first was to a friend of mine that does leather work.
Yeah.
And I called him up and just said, "Hey, man, like, if you were going to do this, how do you think it's even possible?" And he
Yeah.
said, "Not possible at all." Right.
Okay.
So the second phone call was to my wife, who is my dude. She's the compass that keeps me on the straight.
Nice,
right.
yeah.
She's the realist in our relationship.
Yeah.
I'm very much the dreamer, and so I expected to get on the other end of the phone like, "No, this is not
Yeah.
possible.
This is great, but
yeah,
I don't think you can do it.
not going to
Yeah.
happen."
Yeah.
And she said, "You have to do it.
Nice.
You've got to figure it out."
Love
awesome.
it, man. Love it.
And so we did. We made some investment in some equipment that made it a little bit easier for me to try to crank these things out.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had my dad working on it. Me and my wife today we're working on. We also do the leather neck wraps that go around their bottles of bourbon. And today we spent a couple hours sitting in the shop together. She's better at doing snaps than anybody.
So the wife is in there with you, pumping out
100%.
leather.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Dude, that's a great story. So you ended up making the 30,000 coaster
we did,
right?
yeah. So if you
each set has 4 coasters, right?
4 coasters
with
and
a wrap
around it.
Wow.
Yep.
30,000 of those.
We did 6,500 sets.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if you do the 4 times plus the strap and the thing, then it comes out to roughly 30,000.
Holy cow, man!
And then 30,000 neck wraps is what they wanted.
Jeez.
And so that's a continue. Every time they sell a bottle of bourbon, we'll be making a neck wrap for it. So
wow,
yeah, man,
dude, that's awesome. What a collab!
That is awesome.
So, like I said, we'll post some pictures of the kit online just so you guys can check it out. When did this kit go live? When did it officially launch?
They launched it right before the holidays.
Okay.
What Yellow Rose had told me was they call them value added packages.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the value added packages that they've ever done, this one has sold out the quickest.
Nice.
So you can find them kind of sporadically at some places.
Okay.
Goody Goody and all that kind of stuff, especially if you're in Texas. But it's really neat, man. What's the coolest thing about it for me is Yellow Rose could have gone to anywhere else and gotten it for probably half the cost. Yeah. But they wanted to invest in a small town Texas maker.
That's awesome.
And so it's launched us. It's really a cool thing. Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude.
I got a quick story on that set. When me and Cody first started working on this podcast, we were meeting once a week in the local store down the street, downtown.
Our dude Harry.
Yeah, Harry.
Love Harry.
So we were in there, and that's, it was around the holidays, so that's when all the sets were out there, and we saw that one. I think I made a comment about it. I was like, dude, this one's pretty awesome. He's like, that's Ryan at Union. Like, I know him, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. So, I walked past it without even knowing.
Visually, it's the coasters.
And it caught me, the coasters caught me with, because you always see glasses, flasks, your standard stuff, drinkware. Right. But the coasters popped, and I made a comment to Cody as we were walking through. He's like, dude, that's Ryan.
Yeah, it's a unique item, and it's eye catching, and it's beautiful, dude. The kit was beautiful as far as I'm concerned. You got a whiskey bottle on the left hand side, and you got the coasters on the right hand side.
Connective did a really cool job with all the branding for that. They kind of helped Yellow Rose with that. That's who got me in touch with them originally.
Nice.
And they were nice enough to even give me a little bit of a shout out on the side of the box.
Yeah, so, I saw that. Yeah.
Normally you engage in these kind of corporate deals and they don't want your name on anything. Yeah. Yellow Rose really wanted this to be about me as a maker.
Super cool, man.
Yeah,
dude,
very neat.
That's awesome.
Well, like I said, we'll post some pictures and show you guys the kit. Maybe you can go out to your liquor store and find it. Highly recommend you pick it up. Yellow Rose. So we're drinking right now the blended whiskey. It is 80 proof, 40% alcohol by volume. It's the Yellow Rose blended whiskey out of Houston, Texas. Beautiful branding and packaging. I like it. It's simple. It's kind of old school. The bottle's really nice. It's unique. It's got some gold trim. But like I said, anyways, if you're out the liquor store, look for the bottle and the coaster set if you can still find it.
Yeah, if you can snag it with the coasters, you definitely want that. Our
hope is this next year that we'll be doing their value-added packaging again.
Nice.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this puts a little pressure on them, maybe. But if it does, then we'll be doing this show all over again.
Dude. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Well, let's dive into a little bit of your story, Ryan.
Well, let's cheers it up first. Thanks for Ryan for joining us.
Cheers, our first guest. I've known Ryan for a little bit. We met through Matt Henry. He just connects everybody. But Beard Supply, we've done a few events with Ryan. He's been by our side a few times at a few events, and just always enjoy his company. I love hanging with Ryan. He's witty. He's quick on his feet. He's just a funny guy, and he's great to be around and talk to. All around good guy, and I couldn't think of anybody else to have as our first guest on the episode. So thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.
Yes, this is awesome.
We can't wait to dive into your story and just kind of give a little snippet of what you do as far as Union Leather goes and how it's impacted your life.
Yeah, man.
So.
This is my first podcast ever too. So
That's
this
great to
is
hear.
it's first.
Yeah, that's
all the
good
way
for
around.
us.
Yeah.
But so, Ryan, we're gonna hear your story in just a second. But we were talking before we started about drinking this whiskey. You said you had some tips and tricks for me because we talked about me not being a whiskey drinker.
Let's hear that.
So I want to hear your tips and tricks for drinking this Yellow Rose or just whiskey in general.
Well, so I fancy myself a connoisseur of fine bourbons.
You do.
Especially.
I know Ryan for his love for whiskey and bourbons for sure.
Yeah, it pains me because I come in contact with people and they go, I don't like whiskey, or they shun it, right? And there's a reason for that. It's because the way you've consumed whiskey, for the most part, probably has been you've tried to take a shot of it, right?
Yeah.
That's
Drink
this as much as fast as you can.
Chuck shoots whiskey.
Horrible way to shoot.
If it goes in a shot glass, that's my anything.
Yeah. Because it burns like petrol, right, going down your throat. And so here's what I was taught, and this was by a master distiller. I was doing a whiskey tour, and he kind of was trying to give us some tips on the best way to drink it. And so if you're wanting to uncover a lot of the flavor and stuff that's in whiskey, that initial drink is really what's kind of the most important, right? And so don't shoot it. Whiskey is always meant to be sipped. Okay,
nice.
Because it's very complex. There's a ton of flavors that go into it. The blended whiskey that we're drinking, you're gonna taste some vanilla, kind of right out of the gate. People say caramel, and they'll go through like 100 other different flavors that people may or may not taste. Right? Scotch guys like to use the word mossy all the time. It's very mossy. But the key with whiskey is you put a little bit in your mouth, about. If I were to, I'm trying to think of a unit of measurement here. This is going to be the worst unit of measurement I'm going to give.
It's fine. Nobody's going to rip you apart.
It's sort of sacrilegious, but think of the offering cup that you get at church, right? The grape juice. That's about how much you want to get in your mouth. And like a Jolly Rancher, you want to roll it around in your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to keep it in there. It's going to burn a little bit right out of the gate.
Initially.
Yeah. But you let it kind of roll around in your mouth, and you let that burn subside to a certain extent, right? And then you drink it, and then you let it go down. After
that's
that.
Good feedback.
This is changing my whole life. Right now.
Yep, that's well. And let me.
It's going to change the way you drink whiskey.
I think it's just getting started.
Even smelling whiskey, people will pick up a glass of whiskey like it's a glass of wine, and they'll stick their nose in it and smell it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how you breathe in whiskey, because it's so potent, right? It's not wine. It'll burn the nose hairs off of you.
Right.
So what you do is you actually breathe it in through your mouth. So you put your mouth in the glass, you take a deep breath, and then you'll get some of it. Try it. Give it a shot here. There you go.
It's definitely,
You see that? And then you taste it a little bit. You smell it.
Between smelling it with your nose and smelling it with your mouth, there's definitely a difference.
Smelling it with your mouth.
That is really
that's a trick.
That is really impressive feedback, honestly. I haven't heard anybody explain that to me.
Yeah.
In detail like you just did. So that's super impressive.
Get 3 different bottles of whiskey, any different types of whiskey, and try that with every single one of them, and you'll notice the complex differences between all of them, and you're going to go, okay, I'm never drinking whiskey the same way.
Right.
The good thing with Yellow Rose is it's so delicious that we're blowing through glasses.
Oh yeah.
of it.
It's such an easy man. I can't speak for that enough. It's such.
We've talked about this before.
Drinking.
I'm not a whiskey drinker. I'm the odd man out at this table tonight. But this is good stuff.
Yeah, goes down easy.
Oh yeah. No
man.
issue
Good
with
feedback.
this whiskey at all.
That was
fantastic.
a nice little lesson on whiskey.
Yeah. Why didn't you ever tell me that, Cody?
Dude,
Did you not know that?
I'm not as knowledgeable as
Ryan's
is.
bringing the truth right now.
I'm a bourbon missionary, man. I just want to convert everybody.
Bring it.
But let's dive right on into your story. I guess let's take a minute real quick just to kind of, if you want to give us a little bit of a background as far as like where you came from, what you do like on a daily basis, how you got started with Union Leather family, just kind of real quick. It doesn't have to be too in depth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born April 19th, 1981.
Yes. So let's see, all the math wizards out there. How old is Ryan?
Is in Dallas, Texas. No, when I talk about kind of my maker journey,
it really starts
So I have to kind of go back to, I spent 8 years in the Marines, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. But before I get too many pats on the back for that, I didn't go liberate countries. You wouldn't have seen me parachuting into some foreign land. I was a POG, which means a personnel other than grunt, meaning if you think about the United States Marine Corps, 90% of it is support for the infantry, basically everything. Even the aircraft, for the most part, are supporting the guys that are on the ground, right? And so everyone other than an infantryman is a POG.
Okay.
And that's usually a derogatory term, right?
Okay.
And so I was a POG. I did intelligence. I didn't do infantry, and I was a reservist right out of the gate, right?
Okay.
And
still need those guys though. You got to have those guys.
I suppose, right?
Yes.
It works as a machine. You got to have those guys.
Within the Marine Corps ranks, a POG reservist is like the worst. But after 9/11 happened, I was a reservist during that particular time, and I wanted to go active duty, and I did end up on active duty, but I ended up on recruiting duty in Greenville, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And so I was in a strip mall all day, but I spent 8 years, in the Marine Corps, but I didn't. The worst thing I want to do is come out of the gate and be like, let's talk to this combat veteran, Ryan Wheat, right? Because that's the furthest thing for me. But even having said that, right? Like,
still served.
Thank you.
A significant amount of time,
Yeah,
too. So,
definitely.
I mean, it's impressive, and you got to have, it's like a machine. It all works together,
Yeah.
So, like I say, I mean,
I don't want to discredit it too much, but I don't want to beef myself up too much about it.
Yeah.
But the point is like when you're in the Marines, right, and people ask you what you do, they don't ask about what your job is or where you've been, usually. I mean, you get the oddball guy that will ask that. But for the most part, people go, hey, what do you do for a living? And you go, man, I'm a Marine. And they go, oh, wow. Like they're instantly engaged. They're instantly intrigued.
Right.
When I left the military and went into kind of my day job, nobody cares anymore, right? Like there's few jobs that you can do on a day-to-day basis where people are as intrigued as when you're a Marine. And that was a difficult thing for me. Like I struggled for a period of time where I didn't feel as important or I didn't feel as much pride in what I was doing from a day-to-day basis. And so
it's kind of like an identity thing. Like, when you say you're a Marine, even though...
Yeah, absolutely.
But the weight it carries and kind of that pedestal almost as compared to someone who hasn't served in any branch or anything like that.
Well, I just think as human beings, right, I think we want a certain level. We like to feel special, right?
Yeah,
like
of course.
all of us want to feel to a certain extent like we are something that's uniquely and wonderfully made, right? And I didn't necessarily. I felt that when I was in the military, but I didn't necessarily feel that when I got out.
Right,
and I think that there's a lot of the guys that I talk to that have been in the military. They struggle a little bit with that. Like, what is my identity now that I've left that?
Yeah.
I had so much purpose here. Do I really have purpose being an accountant?
Yeah.
Do I really have purpose? Insert job here.
And you hear a lot of stories like that. I mean, almost all the time.
Oh, I think that's the big struggle, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I think not only just the brotherhood and the dudes that have been under fire, like you can't replicate that anywhere else. So I went through this period of time where like I was doing the day job and I was checking the boxes and I bought the house and got married and then I had a bunch of my buddies that were getting into these really cool things. Like I got a friend of mine that's a knife maker, Gaskill Knives.
Yeah.
Check him out on Instagram.
We
He's
know
amazing.
that guy.
I have a friend of mine that's doing woodworking. I had a couple of buddies that built their houses like with their bare hands. Like they were out there with a hammer and nails and they did it. And so I went through this period of time where I was like, I need a thing.
Yeah.
I need to do something. Like there was this angst that was building inside of me of wanting to create or make something. And so I found myself on YouTube every day looking at videos of what am I going to do?
Yeah. How-to videos.
Yeah, how-to videos, man.
So how sporadic did that get? Like,
how all over the place.
Oh my god. Well, I mean,
what were you interested in?
Or did you have like leather in mind? Or
no,
was it just kind of.
I was very much all over the place. It had to be I gravitated towards something hyper masculine.
Okay, yeah.
At one point, I thought I was going to be a blacksmith. Like I legitimately thought, okay, I'm going to build a forge.
That would have been awesome.
We live in Texas, brother.
Horseshoes all day.
It's 115 degrees in the summer.
Yeah, you probably would have died.
That was my reality. I don't want to stand in a shed on the side of my house over a 500 degree, 2,000 degrees, whatever it is. And so I talked myself out of that.
That's intense. Yeah.
I didn't have.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I would literally have burned my. I'm so clumsy. I would have like fallen into it, torched my eyebrows. But and then I ended up. So I scratched that off the list. I didn't have the capital to go into something like woodworking because I couldn't buy like saws and expensive pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
And so leatherwork was something that. If I look back on like kind of why did I think that was cool, my wife had gotten me a Saddleback classic briefcase a long time ago.
Nice.
Saddleback's another Texas company. They make quality leather goods.
Okay.
And so I've always liked that kind of stuff.
It's real manly, just personable type thing,
something masculine about it, raw material, but you can get started in leatherwork with a fairly limited upfront cost. And so I had been in ministry for a period of time. I was leaving a church. They gave me a gift card, and I walked into a Tandy with that gift card. I bought all the tools that I started with that gift card.
Yeah.
And man, I got started doing that. I never thought that it would be a business.
Yeah.
I bought tools and thought, okay, if I'm going to buy an edge beveler, I'm just going to learn to bevel edges with it. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I'll make a wallet out of it. And I started posting it on social media, and people started going, hey, can I pay for that?
Yeah. Strictly just started as a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you just wanted something to do, basically, to spend your time on and have something else to do other than the day job that was kind of a drag type thing.
Yeah, I feel like
just a general hobby.
I say a lot that we are made in the image of a creator.
Yeah.
I think that there's something inherently inside of us to want to make and create something. I think we can define what being a maker or creator is a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I think people assume that it means taking a raw material and like building something out of it. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that are making relationships or, creating companies or I even think of, I've had this conversation with Matt before where he goes, man, I'm a photographer. What am I making? Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you are literally the best artist I know, right? Because you're freezing a moment in time in such a way that, with light and everything. I mean, it's
capturing a moment. Yeah.
So, I was really trying to quelch that thirst really more than anything.
Gotcha.
And ignite a passion in my life was really the intent.
Gotcha.
So.
I can definitely relate to that. Just because I got the same thing going on 9 to 5. I watch Cody. I watch other friends do stuff. And I'm like, man, I need to find something I can get into. Yeah. So, but I can understand where you got that drive, that ambition to start something and create from that.
So that kind of gives us a snippet of like how you started, why you started it, why you started leatherworking. Why is it called Union Leather? Is there anything tied to that? Is it military background or?
I want to give you a really sexy story for that, right?
You got one?
I will try. I'll do my best. We live in Union Valley, Texas, right? Our property, we live on 9 acres of dirt out there that we call Union Hollow. That's the name of our property.
I will say it's a nice piece of property.
Thank you.
I've been out to Ryan's place, and it's a nice little spot.
The first time I had the pleasure of meeting Cody Murphy and his magnificent beard. I mean, I have to say, I'm actually sitting in a room with 2 gentlemen that have really nice facial hair, and the beauty of y'all's facial hair is y'all pick up chicks with facial hair like that.
Oh God,
I
wish.
I usually pick up calls from the cops when I grow out facial hair. Like it's just the mustache. It's horrible.
Yeah. I'm the in between range. I'm just trying not. I grow it out long enough to where my wife is like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
So I don't get it as long as Cody's, but I do try to grow it out a little bit. And I can grow more. My dad's funny because the side of his face will not grow at all.
Yeah.
He just grows it like a goatee almost. Yeah. So he has a gnarly, heavy mustache, but that's because that's all he can do.
My mustache would have been epic in 1985, but now it just gets me pulled over in school.
It's coming back, man. You can rock that.
Thank you. So we live in Union Valley. Our property is Union Hollow, and so at Union, we have an ag exemption for doing bees. I eventually would like to. We don't sell honey right now, but I would eventually like to sell. And I always thought it would be called Union Hollow Honey Company.
Okay.
And so Union has always kind of been in the back of my mind. What's cool about the story of the Union name is that I wasn't even aware of when I kind of first named it was what it would ultimately as kind of man, like a DNA of our company is that it's got two distinct kind of ties historically. One is to obviously kind of, when you think of America and the military and you think of union, just the weight that carries with it, right? So there's definitely a military aspect to what our name is, right? And then even the old labor unions, so if you see our hashtag is join the union, I get a ton of followers that are guys that are like, man, I'm part of the local 419, man. Who are you part of? And I was part of the union. I was a cable splicer for the phone company a long, long time ago and was part of the union. But that the meaning behind the union piece from a labor union perspective is very deep as well.
Yeah. So it all just kind of ties in together. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, just not even on purpose, just. You happen to live in Union Valley, Texas.
it just happened that way.
Yeah,
but it definitely makes a whole lot of sense, I think, for what we're
that's
doing.
Awesome.
Right?
I like that. I like that a lot. So, what experiences through Union Leather have changed your life, or opened your eyes to like a whole nother different world? As far as like, I'm kind of in my bubble, but this experience has kind of opened my eyes and just the experience overall, the people I interact with. Have changed my life. Could you say that that's probably what has happened along this journey? No, not at all.
I love that.
I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding. So I say frequently that if everything ended for Union tomorrow, and all I had to show for it were the relationships that I had made, then it would be absolutely worth it, right? So. It was a weird thing. I didn't expect for it to happen that way. I started making leather products in my pantry of my house by myself. When I'm in my shop most days, it's just me that's working on stuff, other than my warrior princess bride that comes in from time to time to help me out. But what happened was the typical, and I can't speak for all like maker journeys, but I assume it's kind of the same way. I got on and immediately started following a whole bunch of other leather workers, right? Like I was like, I want to see what other people are doing. I want to see how they're doing it. I want to try to learn as much as I can. And so I started messaging some of these guys and being like, hey man, I'm just curious, what kind of thread are you using? Mm-hmm. How are you, what kind of punches are you using? What tools are you using for this? And I was shocked that they would, respond to me. Yeah. For my day job in that industry, you wouldn't think that people that are competitors would share trade secrets.
Yeah, it's a unique dynamic. I mean, it's interesting in the maker world. I've learned that as well through Beard Supply. But yeah, I mean, when you're making stuff with your hands like leather work, it's nice to know that guys are just open about whatever they're using and open to share that with whoever that is interested.
Yeah, I would say 9 out of 10 makers that I reach out to are totally open and honest with awesome. Hey, let me try to encourage you. You get the oddball that's like, no, I want to kind of shut you out. But what I found with makers and artists is that there is an element of the bar being raised that will make me a better maker, right? So if I tell another guy what to make and how, or not what to make, but how to make what he's making, and he starts to emulate me to a certain extent, but he starts to do it better than me, then there's personal ownership there for me to be better, right?
Right, for sure, yeah.
So if he does that, I can get upset and go, he's copying me, right? And he's doing it better than I am, and I can quit, or I can go, I'm just going to come up with something that's better than what he's doing. So we share this stuff with one another. I think there's a certain element that we recognize that we get better.
Yeah,
as
we
crafters.
all get better. Yeah.
Absolutely,
that's awesome.
And I would feel like what you just explained, that mentality, is I feel like that would help anybody just in general. Like if instead of just getting upset or butt hurt that someone's copying you or treating you maybe not the way that you expect. Yeah, mentality would be like, hey, all right. Good job. I showed you this. You did it better than me. Now I'm going to come at you with something different, or something even better than what you got, which kind of what drives. What's the word I'm looking for? Innovation.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
You stole it.
It's a community, and you're just building each other up, and that's what we should. I think what Chuck is saying, you should just do that in general in life, is build each other up and help each other out. Yeah. Answer questions when people when somebody has a question, answer it.
I think life or relationships just in general would go a lot smoother if you had that mentality than just getting mad or
And I think
irritated.
that's drawn me to Ryan, because I can tell he's that type of guy that is just open and willing to just share his thoughts. He's honest, and he's just a good hang. But I mean, it's nice to hear that there's a community like that.
Yeah.
Of makers are just out there helping each other out, building the same product.
Absolutely. And I don't care. I don't care who you are. If you're good to people,
Yeah.
no matter what you're doing, if you are nice, if you make eye contact, you smile, and you're good to people, your life will be substantially better.
Most definitely. I agree.
This just being an outsider perspective, because Cody's Beard Supply, you got unions, y'all have these different communities, interactions that I don't have a side like that or anything. But being around Cody and Beard Supply, I do think it's awesome. And then hearing your story that there is that like almost brotherhood communication back and forth. Like, because I would think not being involved, if you're like starting a business or making a product and someone tries to interact with you, I would just think most people are like, no, this is mine. I'm not helping.
You get defensive. And
But I don't know if that's just me, just in general, or just every day, you hear about, I guess it's bigger companies being more
ripping other companies off.
Yeah, ripping off or just not helping. But it's nice. It's awesome to hear that y'all have those sources and communities that do build each other up instead of shoot each other out.
Yeah, figure it out on your own, bro.
Yeah.
Good luck. I think it's Adidas and Puma or whatever. They're like, their factories are in the same city, like in Europe or whatever, and it like divided everybody.
Yeah,
and
almost like a Premier League team.
It's horrible.
And there's Cody.
What's neat about the community, and even when I think about like my interaction with Cody and Beard Supply, and Matt with the photos and Matt Gaskell with the knives, is Matt needs sheaths for his knives sometimes, and he engages me. Sometimes people see the sheaths that I've made and they go, man, I want that knife, and I can help Matt Gaskell out. And then they're like, man, your photos are looking awesome. Like, that's Matt Henry, and you're doing stuff with Beard Supply. And so we started a direct message group on Instagram that's called the Make Collective, and most of them are leather workers. But the truth is it's, if we all kind of help each other out a little bit, especially people cross discipline, then we see all of us doing better.
Right. Yeah.
And it really just ends up helping everybody out.
I love it, man. I love it. I love the community aspect of that.
Yeah.
You got anything, Chuck?
I didn't anticipate.
Were you about to say something?
No. I'm leaning in because I'm waiting. I mean, in a second I'm going to say something, but no. You talk over me all the time. No, I'm kidding. So, you have your day job, you have union, you're married. How does that all work in one space? Because I see Cody and I see other people, and I just have a day job and kids and a family, and I think that's crazy. So, what is that work-life balance like? Like, are you breaking yourself? Are you kind of take it easy? Like, where do you find a balance to get everything done and at a level that you're what's a quality that you're appreciative of, or I don't know the words I'm looking for, but you know what I mean.
And still
like,
keep your sanity.
You're proud of, you keep your sanity, you get your day job done, you make the work.
You remain married, not divorced.
Yeah, you remain married, and your quality at union is not affected by any of it. Like, how does that all balance out?
No, I think it's a valid question, right? I think, man, it's an interesting thing because, they call it a side hustle for a reason, I think, right?
Sure.
Hustle's such a played out word right now, by the way. People are like, I'm bicycling. Hashtag hustle. People bicycled for centuries without cars.
Chuck's diving into the whiskey again. Just so everybody knows.
I think
Chuck has never drank this much whiskey.
Hey man, I've been swishing it in my mouth while Ryan's going at it. So I'm taking his advice. I'm trying to get over that burn and get that flavor in.
It's like getting a hug for your soul when you drink whiskey.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Work-life balance. So I think it's important to point out, right? Because the intro all along has been, hey, Ryan from Union, but the truth is Union is not my full-time gig, right? So, and that's been by design on purpose. And so part of that is because of where my priorities lie, right? Like I want to make sure my family's taken care of.
Right.
And sometimes I will refer to one job or the other, passion first provision. I don't think that that's necessarily fair either, but Yeah, I think that there's part of it where you have to go, look, I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier, or I'm going to have to go to bed a little bit later. I try to cut off very clear lines of delineation from a work perspective in order to ensure that one does not suffer over the other.
Yeah.
And that means that you have to be a little bit disciplined. You have to, carve out some time. You have to not watch those reruns of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
And maybe
For
actually
sure,
do something else. But my priority over work more than anything is my home life, right? And my wife has been incredibly supportive in what I've done from a union perspective.
Yeah.
She's been not only a big advocate, but she's been there in the shop working with me, and that means a whole lot.
And you could probably say, like, without her, Union Leather wouldn't exist, right? I mean, that's how I feel about Beard Supply. Like, without my wife and the way that she handles our family when I can't be there, the Beard Supply would not exist without her. And that's really telling. It's like you got to have somebody in your corner supporting you like that, or else you can't make all these other people happy with your leather work or your beards products or whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
You got to have that person in your corner supporting you. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so, if we break that apart a little bit, right? Like, so one, to validate your statement, like union definitely would not exist in the realm that it exists today without my wife encouraging me the way that she did. Right.
Yeah.
The opposite end of that spectrum is she could always discourage me.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So I don't know how many lady listeners you guys have right now, but
we're packing them on, man. We're getting them all every day.
This is a little modern dudette chat right now, but women want it. It's funny because I think that my wife ultimately wants me to be a man that of action and of work ethic and of success. Like, I think that deep down she wants that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there are ladies that want that, but for whatever reason, like the gravity is they may not necessarily encourage, or they may think that love looks a different way by saying, "Hey, I want you to spend time with me right now instead of working on whatever that is."
Yeah.
They want the results, but
immediate results.
Yeah. They may not want. They don't want the hard work.
I'm going to let you talk right now.
Okay.
I don't even want to get in the middle of what we're about to unravel.
No, I'm not going to get into no, but say honestly, like there are, you do see some, and I'll tie it into my own personal life. Here we go. Get the doghouse ready. No, when my wife and you can expand this on a grander scale. Yeah. When my wife wants me to do a project, wants me to work on something, make her something, do something around the house, it's the final product. Like, she doesn't take into account sometimes the tools, the process, how long it's going to take. She says, "Hey, you're going to do this," and then so it's noon. You're going to do this. We got to be somewhere by 3. So, I mean, that's just sometimes. Yeah. But still, there's that.
Understanding the process. Really.
If you have somebody
and really understanding,
especially on a size and scale that you guys do it, if you have somebody that understands that and supports that, that's awesome.
I want to point out the fact that Cody just jumped in to help you just now.
What?
He could have let you exist in that lifeboat for a little bit. But he totally jumped in.
Real quick, here's the beauty of my.
I've known Chuck for years, so I know where he's going.
Of my wife and my relationship, like, honestly, there's nothing I say on here that I would not say to her. Yeah. And she same back. She completely understands it. And we actually, funny because we were talking about earlier about the nice weekend. Yeah. We had that conversation this afternoon. I was like, I have stuff to do today. What you're asking is a little bit much. So let's come up with something real. But anyway, no. Back to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just understanding the process and everything that goes into it.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, I think, Cody, man, you hit it on the nail on the head, right? Yeah, when you've got a woman that's behind you that will say, listen, and I don't even want to talk about like behind you. Like, my wife is so like
beside you.
Dude, she's 10 feet ahead of me.
Right.
She, when I was doing taxes this year, she's knee deep and helping me with that. And she's super organized, and everything that is a weakness for me, my wife is a strength.
Yeah, and she compensates for that.
She's just been great. So
Nice.
I don't want to get, y'all are going to get me like a bumper sticker that says I love my wife or whatever, those guys. But I do.
This plays into the work-life balance and just allowing your side hustle to exist.
Yep,
in
that's
whole,
priority number one. If I pursue after her and her happiness, and she's doing the same for me, then you'd be amazed at the dividends that it pays on both sides of the fence. And
sure.
when the day job is the day job, the night job is the night job, and my wife encourages me through both of those.
And
right?
I think that's a lot of things that right there is what a lot of people from the outside looking in miss. They don't see, the entrepreneur hustling during the day at his day job, and then he's going, or she is going after hours to go work on this side hustle and really make it happen. I mean, that's what a lot of people don't see. It's all on social media, and it looks like it's just that person's day job. They do that full time, but in reality, you got to make money. You got to survive. You got to pay for whatever house you have. I have 4 kids, so I got to do what I got to do to make sure I take care of them first, and then make sure all of
the number one question I get on social media, right?
Yeah.
So
How do you do it?
I do lives, or I do like I open up my DM for people to reach out, and they always go, "At what point did you quit your day job?
Yeah.
Or how soon till I can quit my day job?" Like,
man.
Everyone thinks that there's a measure of success with how quick can I rip out what I do for my day gig and then throw in what I want to do from an entrepreneurial standpoint. But what I have seen is time and time again is more dudes more dudes or girls, dudes in modern dudette chat.
Dudettes, yeah.
more girls, my guys and girls have not succeeded because they've decided to burn the boats, as they say, too soon.
Yeah.
And they're out there trying to make their thing that was once something that they loved their mode of paying the bills, and all of a sudden they wake up one day and they go, I hate this.
Yeah.
I had a good friend of mine a couple of weeks ago that was a photographer. She said, I never want to touch a camera again.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine in leatherwork right now that's saying, I never want to make another thing out of leather. Yeah. And I hate it because you look at some of these people and you go, you are so talented and you've got so much skill. And you decided at some point that the only way you were going to feel like you were successful was if you did this. And now you're looking back on it going, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Yeah. It's heartbreaking for me as an outsider to see that happening. Because
what they do is they get burned out is what you're saying.
Oh, 100%.
They burn themselves out, and it became overwhelming, and it's just too much to handle and to keep up with. Because in order to make it happen, you really got to hustle. That's where hustle comes into play. You really got to hustle and make it happen in order to make it something that you can make a living off of. Yeah, basically, comfortably.
Yep.
And that's the hard part. That's the hardest part. Yeah. And I think you agree with that, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like I said. I think that's the one thing that a lot of people from the outside looking in struggle with figuring out is like, how does this guy do that, or how does this girl do that? How do they make it look so awesome on the outside, but really it's a side hustle. It's I'm busting my ass during the day and after hours, and I'm trucking along. I got support, so that's a lot of things that I want to talk about on this podcast often, is like the struggle and what it really takes to get to that point.
Because I do joke with Cody. Well, he's like, I'm at Beard Spot. I'm like, oh, so you're not doing anything today, right? No, but
shots fired.
I joke because I do. I've been to events. I have been up to Beard Supply and hung out with Cody when he's doing his thing. So I know what goes on behind the scenes. But like Cody said, I joke with him because I know. But a lot of people don't know what all goes into it.
Yeah. We live in the worst time from a perception standpoint, right? Yeah. We've got that Facebook mentality where, and I want to say Facebook, there's going to be people listening to this that are like, my grandparents are on Facebook. So social media, whatever social media is going to exist in 5 years when you people are still listening to this podcast. Right. And people go on there and they see this snapshot. They see this 1 second still frame of what they think success is. And I see within the leather maker community where somebody has a stack of orders up and they're like, I'm shipping out Monday's orders. And it's like 100 orders. And you're like, I don't have 100 orders to ship out today. Yeah. But the truth is you don't know if that's just a typical Monday?
Right.
Is that a month worth of orders?
Right.
That dude could be mailing thank you cards out from his wedding.
Was he up till 4 o'clock in the morning, like shipping those orders? Yeah.
You have no idea
idea.
what went behind that.
You can shape and bend anything you need or want to on social media.
That's the beauty of social media for sure. But hey, I think speaking of social media, how has social media improved? Like I said, you've already touched on some of this. How's it improved your business? And would you have a business at all without social media?
Yeah, so I the answer is it's the best and worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fair.
Yeah, we will let's unpack the worst part of social media because it kind of comes off the curtails of what we were just talking about, and it's that because I follow 100 other leather workers. I get up every morning, I look at them, and I go, man, this dude was doing this festival this last weekend, and this guy is shipping out these orders, and this guy's got this deal with this big corporate partnership, and you start to like see that stuff, and you go, well, I haven't been doing that, right?
Right.
And so you start to measure yourself up to it to a certain extent. You can measure your like. I only got 150 likes on this photo.
Yeah.
He got 500 on his. My live engagement was only 18 people, and he had 36 on his live, right?
Yeah.
And it almost becomes this metric that you can. There's always somebody better. It's
always.
That's always the case. And if you're measuring yourself against all of those people all the time, then it becomes crippling for you.
Yeah.
And so
I agree.
That's the negative. That's the bad side of social media. What I will say though is, we live in a time like where we are more connected globally to people than we have ever been.
Yeah.
Right. So the analogy that I heard once was about somebody that wanted to sell a book, right? And used to, if you wanted to become an author, like you would write something and then you would have to like mail it out to a whole bunch of publishers, and they may or may not write it. They may or may not publish it. But now you've got these bloggers that are blogging every single day or every week, and then all of a sudden people are coming across their content, and the next thing you know, they're getting book deals, right? Like their ability to reach a mass audience through the medium of social media or the web is so powerful.
Yeah.
And so I would say, man, like, I don't want to say 100% of my success has come from social media, but a big part of it, and even my current business model, like most of my customers, even though I have a website, they engage me first through Instagram. They go, man, I want this wallet, or I want this, and I point them towards the website in order to order it if they can. But I do a lot of orders through social media.
And I think that's primarily just how business works these days. I mean, you have to have a social media presence, obviously. And that's the thing. Like social media contributes to everybody's business now.
Yeah.
I mean, you pay for ads on Facebook. You can pay for ads on Instagram, and that's just how it is. But thanks for hanging with us today. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, man.
Where can people find you? Social media.
Union Valley, Texas.
just stroll right on in.
What's your home address?
No.
Cell phone number. But yeah,
where's Union Hollow at? Where can we find that?
But plug all your socials. Let us know what you're working on. Are you working on anything interesting? You got any new products you're working on? You want to?
Yeah. So first off, where to find me? So on Instagram, at Union Leather Co.
Okay.
Right. Facebook, I think, is /Union Leather Co. So facebook.com /Union Leather Co. www.unionleather.co. No M. Right.
Nice.
The worst mistake I ever made from a web address, because I get more people that go, I emailed you, man, at unionleather.com. And I'm like, it's .co. Anyways, unionleather.co. So that's going to be web. We have a YouTube channel. If you want to get on there and see a couple of our wallets, it's on there as well. We don't have enough subscribers to have our own personal thing. So it's like youtube.com /YXJ17. Whatever.
Everybody's still figuring out YouTube.
Type in Union Leather or the Highwayman, which is one of our products. That's one of the main ones. There's a whole story behind it. The Highwayman. I don't want to take more time.
No, you're fine.
But upcoming things that we got going on, man, we've just got markets that are coming up. We've got some key partnerships too that we're continuing to work on. So I would say just subscribe to our Instagram is really the best way to get kind of updates on what we got going on.
Do you have newsletters you put out monthly or anything like that?
Do not do newsletters.
Sorry for bringing it up.
What do you have? What's
Ryan is going to begin putting out newsletters.
Yes. What's your newest thing going on, and what's big happening? Nothing big and no newsletters.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Things to see on the horizon this next year. That we kind of kicked off 2019 saying we wanted to kick out more content. Really was what we were wanting to do, especially from a video standpoint. From a product perspective, like we're wanting to start doing more watch straps, more belts. We're wanting to start doing bags.
Nice.
We make everything by hand. That means I hand stitch every single item that we sell.
Yeah.
And so some of the larger projects are taking us a little bit of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we've got a bunch of corporate sponsorships that are going to be coming out as
Right
well.
on.
But we have NDAs and stuff. We can't announce all of them.
Hey,
right
I
now.
like that.
We understand that.
Dude, I highly encourage everybody to go follow Ryan. His Instagram feed is legit. He makes beautiful products. We didn't even get into the names, but like you said, the Highwaymen,
The Lance,
the
Davy.
the stuff, the way he names his products is just brilliant. I love it. So definitely go check him out on Instagram. His live feeds are wonderful.
Yeah,
I enjoy his live feeds all the time.
I was gonna say in lieu of the evasive newsletter that Cody's hoping he puts out, he what I think is cool, which I don't think we touched on, was that your Instagram, definitely go follow, because you do what do you call them, stories,
Stories and live
that
feeds.
you got quotes, inspiration stuff, which is awesome, which I like, that I can just pop on there, see it real quick, get it in my brain for the morning or the day, and take it with me. So
Ryan's an inspirational guy.
Follow Instagram and go to the website and get you something.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I think Ryan's going to stick with us a little bit longer. Hang out for a little while.
You going to hang out, Ryan?
Are you?
I will. Yes, I'll be here for a bit.
We got a
bit.
nice little
That's
segment coming up.
a good Texas Southern. I'm going to be here for a bit.
Over yonder.
So
You can find me over yonder.
He may cut out on us, but again, thank you so much for coming in and sitting with us and telling us your story and bringing your brand. And
Thank you guys for having me, man.
It was a blast.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Seriously
it was
appreciate
fun.
it.
So, social media, that was the big, we touched on that in the end, and do you want to
dive into that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Are we recording?
Seems like a better, no, oh, wait.
Is this thing on?
Did I push start?
This
No.
isn't live, is it? I hope it's not live.
All right, so Wednesday, the world
the
ended.
world was rocked.
If you didn't know, the world ended on Wednesday. It was over. If you blinked, you missed it. So for Wednesday, for, I don't know, 9 hours.
Let's speak on this, because Wednesday mornings are when we launch the podcast, the new episodes.
Yes.
So you and I hop on the social media websites or platforms, and we're like, all right, we got to post all of our social media stuff.
Everything's out there. Go
Water
check
Dude
us
Chat's
out.
live.
Which I think we made it for the morning, but like I'm sitting there in the morning and I normally get a little feedback, maybe some likes, maybe a comment, and then like an hour or two goes by and nothing. And I'm just like, okay, there's nothing going on Instagram. I'm working. Wednesday's a work day. Nothing's going on, and I'm just like, okay. So I didn't notice. I wasn't on it long enough or use it enough to know there was a problem. So like in the afternoon, I'm like, all right, I'm not because of the feedback. I was like, it's launch day. I'm gonna put out something else to go with it.
Yeah.
And that's when it just got stuck in this cycle of we're uploading. And I was like, what is going on? Facebook, same thing. And finally, hopped on that old backup Twitter and hashtagged Instagram. And sure enough, there's a million people complaining about
Everybody's logging into their Twitter account.
Everyone's on Twitter because everything else is broken. So Instagram and Facebook are tied together, but everyone's on Twitter again because they're complaining that it's broken. So that's how I found out that it was broken. It was broke from like 9, 10 in the morning until 6.
Well, and it was updating a little bit, right?
It was.
So I thought it was the Wi-Fi where I was at. And so I was actually angry at the facilities guy. I'm banging on the door like, dude,
Is your Wi-Fi straight?
Yeah, what is the deal?
Straight, bro? Straight up, I restarted my phone 3 times, thinking my phone was broke.
Yes.
I did do that.
Yep.
That's funny you thought it was Wi-Fi. 'Cause
I did. I thought
I initially thought that was my problem, and then I couldn't log in. I was like, what what is going on?
It's the best thing to happen to humanity in a long time.
I've had signal for 2 years in this building. Why all of a sudden has it crashed? Oh man.
What did you miss though? I mean, let's be real. As
true.
human beings, let's do some self-reflection here and go,
It's a good time to self-reflect, for sure.
what are we actually missing out on? Is there something Kim and Kanye are doing that we just have to see
I had to
right now?
I had to interact with people in real life.
I think
that's what changed.
I think it's the entertainment aspect. Just simply that. Like, you're entertained, right? Scrolling through Instagram.
All right, but I'm going to be let's
memes.
really peel this onion
I know,
apart
yeah.
here a little bit.
Let's
Are
get
you
into it.
even entertained? Because for me,
Yeah.
this is real talk here, right?
Yeah,
There is an element of just like systematic like programming that's happened.
Yeah.
Where I open my Instagram and I spin it like I'm cycling through like 30, and then I close it. And I don't even know what I looked at.
Right, yeah.
So you go with the entertainment factor. Really, like for the most part, we open it up, we scroll through nonsense, and then
Sure.
we close it. And it's that habitual
Okay.
motion.
So
Yes,
so is
I
it
got, yeah. I wanna
is it
get into this
FOMO? Is it fear of missing out?
No.
No? Okay.
So you brought up entertainment. I wouldn't call it entertainment either. Not for mine.
Okay.
Because I was.
Is it fear of missing out for you?
well?
FOMO.
Did you?
Is that what they call this? Is FOMO?
Oh my
FOMO.
gosh!
Everything's
Oh my
Hey, I'm with you.
Get
That's
with
that's
us. It's where have you guys been? It's
Hey,
FOMO.
I'm gonna mute your mic for 5 minutes if you say that again. FOMO. If that comes out of your mouth one more time, Cody. No. So I was very, very late to the Instagram party.
Yeah.
And Facebook is Facebook, but I like Twitter more because usually I get on Twitter for news or like breaking stories. Like that's how I get.
Twitter's a good news feed.
That's basically that's what I use it for. Is what's going on in the world? Did anything happen? I check real quick to see if anyone I'm following brought up any news, or I go straight to the trending and see what's going on. So, as far as missing out, it was, I don't know, when you're used to getting your news or what's going on in the world that way, which Twitter wasn't broken, so that didn't bother. It didn't. The only reason it bothered me or I noticed is because I was trying to do stuff on Instagram with the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't use Instagram enough. Although I'm getting there, and Facebook, I was at work, so I'm not really on it. But for the podcast, I was trying to get our stuff out there. So if I didn't have the podcast, I would have had no idea.
Yeah. Yes. That's a good question for Ryan, though. I mean, does your business is a lot of it is via Instagram, right?
It is, but really it's much more the rat race. Instagram's
Okay.
much more the rat race. So I didn't walk away from Wednesdays when it happened. See, I don't even. I'm like, was it Wednesday, Thursday?
Which day did I enjoy?
What day was I at peace? And that was really it.
Seriously, though.
That was it more than anything. Was like there was a break in this just like rat race of keeping up with everybody else, and
It's
because
forced.
as a business, right? Because there's this algorithm, right, that
Yes.
runs behind the scenes with Instagram,
Most
where you're like,
definitely.
I need to post a certain amount of time, so they keep me higher up on the algorithm, so that way I can get more likes, so I can get more followers, so I can. And it really is exhausting.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm saying
agree.
it out loud right now,
I agree.
and I feel like an idiot.
No,
Like,
yeah, because we all play into it.
Yo,
why are we
absolutely.
doing this?
Yeah, I agree, man.
So if I missed anything, and really legitimately, I got to the end of the day and was like, that was awesome. Like they should have a day of the week where they shut down social media.
That's not a bad idea at
I like
all.
that. I like that.
Please, like I don't know who's
Because if Twitter would have went down too, that's
yeah.
when I would have
Chaos.
noticed, like really noticed that
People would have been
If they could have shut it
interacting.
all down.
Yeah, I don't do
Just
the
sit
I
your
don't do the
phone down.
tweeters. I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
Not for Union doesn't have a Twitter, but I get on for like the only reason I've gotten on Twitter this last week was looking to see if Dallas Cowboys were doing anything in free agency. That's it.
Yeah,
Which we
And-
got some stuff on that later.
And,
did nothing.
That's
Nothing.
I mean, that's kind of what I've determined Twitter is. That I use it for newsfeed.
Yeah,
more than
it's a good
anything.
news feed. When I get on Twitter when there's really bad
Never.
storms, and I want to know if there's a tornado coming towards the house.
Pete
'cause
Delkus,
it's
man.
real time on Twitter.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
highlight of my life, and it's not even the highlight of my life. My wife tweeted Pete Delkus, and he responded,
Wait,
and that's the coolest thing that's ever happened to us.
Shout out to Pete.
That's
Thanks, bro.
Old PDD.
But hey, I think collectively we all know we have a problem, a social media problem,
Well, and being
and
real,
I think it was good for that to happen.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a reality
like,
check,
for
right?
us on Wednesday. Yeah, as far as like impact to business or impact to your day to day on Instagram, like Wednesdays when we release our episodes. So that's when we're trying to push hard. And I told Cody, like listening and stuff, like the stats that roll in throughout the day. Like the first half of the day, it was like nothing. Like I was like, hey, is this thing broken? What's going on? And then of course once Instagram fired back up, bang 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 bang, here we go. So as far as like what we use it for, it kind of drives, you know, listeners.
That's a whole other conversation, man.
That's, no, I don't want to dive into it, but I'm just saying as far as
conversation too.
No, but as far as impact of what Wednesday, like as far as personal, didn't bother me. I didn't really notice it that much. But as far as like business,
tons of businesses were
doing
affected.
a hobby or something, like man, that could have been brutal.
Tons of businesses and models were affected.
When I think of
someone got fired.
Yeah, the fire festival apparently isn't happening. I don't know if y'all heard about that or not. When I think of the final scene in Fight Club, when their buildings are burning down to break down like the banking institution, if they did that for social media, as much as my business would suffer, I would celebrate every moment of that.
I hear you. I hear you. I think we could all agree with that.
Yep.
I wouldn't miss it. I'm not like an active on social media, but I just follow. I follow it, but I don't like participate very much.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So I've got one topic. I've got to take off, unfortunately. But I've got one thing that I want to discuss with you guys.
Bringing something to the table here.
Yes.
Nice.
And that's this whole college acceptance.
Dude.
What is it a conspiracy? Fiasco.
Maybe.
Yeah. The FBI is involved. There's actresses.
Dude, so I've heard this, and I kept up with it a little bit. All I know is, this is all I know. Step by step, Lori Loughlin, she's in trouble.
Yes.
She has 2 daughters, right? Is that correct?
I do believe so.
I think it was a USC, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So apparently, I'll try to break this down as much as I can. There is a fraudulent.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying for your listeners that fraud is short for fraudulent.
There's a fraudulent situation going on.
Flatch is short for flatulent.
So there's a lot of big colleges involved with this, right? As far as I've heard, USC, Yale, Harvard,
even our own University of Texas, I think, is involved.
Insane. So basically,
A&M was actually upset that they weren't included.
Easy,
of course they were.
easy.
Hey, Chuck's wearing an A&M shirt right now.
Yeah.
But so basically,
we're in the SEC. We cheat in other ways.
In a nutshell, parents, I think we can safely say, have been buying their kids' ways into college. Is that what we're talking about?
I believe that's in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Yeah, in a nutshell.
I'm in this nutshell.
Lori Loughlin.
How did I get in this nutshell?
Bought her way or her kids' ways into USC. Is that correct?
Yeah, my understanding from the outside and what I've read is that it's kind of like twofold. I think one from a testing standpoint, right? Like they were donating to a nonprofit. And that nonprofit also ran testing facilities or had connections at testing facilities.
So like SATs?
Yes.
Type thing? Okay.
And I think it was, they either had, like you said, something with the testing facility or someone was just straight up taking tests.
For them.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think...
sounds like it's a common thing is happening.
The second part is more interesting to me.
Okay.
Well,
if it's the same thing.
In Florida, I think that they actually just arrested a dude that was taking tests for people... But he was just really smart. What's crazy about him is he would go in and like legitimately score like a 1580.
Yeah.
I don't even know what score is good for the SAT. I'm just throwing a number out.
It's pretty good
score. But he legitimately did it on his own. Like they were just like, this guy's really, really smart.
Wow.
And so, but with Lori Loughlin and that whole thing is also with the sports team. Like they would go to the rowing team or what do they call it? They don't rowing. Do they call it rowing? Crew?
I even heard there was a punter on the football team that somehow he was bought in, and he's just like
as the punter.
He's a sit-in kicker. He doesn't play, but he's a sit-in kicker.
He's the backup punter
for USC.
Yeah,
and there's jokes about USC being terrible, and that's why. But anyways,
I think I don't know if it was one of these two, but one of the prominent stories was that it was a soccer team, and it might have been one of these daughters. That they supposedly reviewed tape, which I'm saying reviewed with quotations, reviewed tape and like essentially handed out a soccer scholarship for her to get into because so the details of a scholarship. So admissions to a university, you have to have certain scores, certain grades.
Right.
If you're on an athletic scholarship, also another NCAA nice little quirk they have. If you're on a athletic scholarship, your scores and testing, everything can be lowered.
Okay.
So there's a different standard for athletes, which is lower, surprise, than normal students. So basically, if you can't get in on grades and test scores, what they were doing was coaches were getting paid to hand out a scholarship or accept someone on the team.
That's where the kicker came into play.
Yeah. So accept them on a team so
funny.
they get in because their scores and tests are lowered. So they're essentially you're paying to get into school. I mean,
which is why I heard there was just a kicker sitting on the bench.
I guess I'm just confused at the fact that the people that are doing this are CEOs of companies and they're $1 million actresses. Now granted,
dude, it's about to get crazy.
Lori Loughlin's like headlining Hallmark Channel, right?
Yeah,
so let's not.
She was.
Yeah,
she got axed.
Cut immediately. But these people like have money, and how hard is it to get into USC? I mean, I don't want to listen. If there's anybody listening that went to USC, I don't want to put them down.
Right.
But if I was in like the bottom 20% of my class, if I can get accepted to a college, how dumb you gotta be to not get into you know what I'm saying?
It's just the fact that they had money and they can pay for it.
It's not
right.
I think it's more like it's not rolling the dice like
and it's
how
keeping
much,
that standard. I feel like
if my kid wanted to go to we'll keep it at USC. If my kid wanted to go to USC, she's going to have to do the scores, do the tests, and we're going to hope that there's a spot for her and she can make it in.
Right.
These actresses and people with all this money are like, okay, my daughter wants to go to USC. How much money do I have to pay to get her there?
Right.
Like
because
that's where she wants to go to school.
Because I'm Lori Loughlin.
Yeah.
Right? Is that how we feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the train of thought.
Because it's not like how I don't know if it's like how smart or not smart they are.
Right.
They may or may not be good enough to get a USC, but we're buying a guarantee that they're going to go to the school that they want.
And it's because of
whether they're legit can get in or not.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters. It's just, hey, my kid wants to go to USC. Tell me the number of check on the check that I have to get in there.
You've got to be pretty hard up though to at some point go, I'm going to commit fraud.
Yeah,
that could result in me going to prison.
I know, man.
So that my kid can go to this. Like that's not just I want to give them a better shot, right?
Right.
So I don't know, man. I think about their world, how turned upside down Lori Loughlin's life is now. She's never going to act again.
Yeah,
her kids are going to be kicked out of school. And you look at Felicity Huffman, William H. Macy's involved. Like
it's about to get crazy.
And like
from what I heard, it's about to get crazy.
One of her daughters,
like the list is insane.
If not both, one of them was like a Instagram model. Like she already had all these contracts, and they cut her. Like she had all these makeup and modeling contract, like on Instagram, cut.
Yeah,
Lori Loughlin cut off Hallmark or wherever she was at.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was so important to be a Trojan in my life. I mean, it's insane.
It is, dude. I can't believe it. And like I said, apparently the list is just growing and growing and growing. And there's supposed to be more celebrities and people
I think the court stuff starts this week.
It's already started.
It already started?
Okay. I'm captivated by this, right? Like I love seeing the pictures of Felicity Huffman outside the elevator with the two or three FBI guys like around.
Yeah.
They bust into these folks' houses with guns drawn, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's an FBI investigation.
Amazing.
So, side story on the Hallmark, wherever Lori Loughlin does, they film a lot in Canada. So she was trying to go back and forth from Canada to LA, and she had a little issue. I think I don't remember details, but I don't know if she wasn't in LA or she was in LA trying to leave to go to Canada and work. So they had to all stop on her wherever she was at. Get your butt to LA because you got a problem.
Yeah,
but I don't know. This is weird.
Developing story.
But
we're probably going to cover it more in the future, but.
As for what Ryan was saying, I'm curious to see how much they knew. Like, because Lori Loughlin, I mean, you could think, not knowing,
Well,
if I'm not digging into it, it's.
I've read the transcripts.
Okay.
I'm telling y'all
I
thought
read a
was
little
kidding.
bit. I read
why
a snippet of the transcript.
This is
Bro,
why Ryan brought this.
And it's like,
segment
I just have to write this much check and she'll get in. And he's like, yeah. I mean, that's kind of basic.
I'm knee deep in this,
Okay.
right? They knew. What I don't know is whether how much the daughters knew. Like, did the daughters think? Because here's the deal.
I don't think they had a clue.
I don't know whether
That's
they.
even crappier.
Yeah.
man.
Well, I mean, I say, is it crappier that they knew or they didn't know? I mean,
I think it's crappier that they didn't know. I
Yeah.
will say.
I mean,
if they did know, then
it's pretty crappy if you get your kid to commit
True.
fraud as well along with you.
True. I'll agree with that.
That's just a different mindset. Because, like me, I wouldn't want to go there if I knew my parents bought me there.
But continue
you know?
on.
Yeah.
With that.
But
Sorry.
anyway. Yeah.
No.
Tell us about the transcript.
Yeah, I mean, so that's I don't know, even because so Lori Loughlin and her husband got arrested.
Yeah.
Felicity Huffman got
Massimo
arrested,
guy.
but William Macy did not get arrested. Who's
Okay.
Felicity Huffman's husband? For
Okay.
those of you that aren't,
Maybe he
keeping up.
wasn't in communication or something. Like he didn't do the communicating with the fixer.
Yeah, he wasn't on the email thread.
I don't know. I mean, you, in the transcripts and stuff, it seems like he's very much involved, but for whatever reason, he hasn't been arrested yet. But
Interesting.
it's a crazy thing to watch unfold. It's always
is.
why we celebrate the mighty fallen so much. I don't understand.
I know.
But anytime anybody does something as crooked as this, you hope that they.
It's all around.
It comes down
us.
to
It's all
if
around
you
us.
had the money, would you do it?
No.
I can't say that because I don't.
You
I
wouldn't.
don't think I would ever have that.
Cody.
I don't think I would ever have that amount of money.
And Ryan, I'm not gonna pick on you because I don't know you as much.
Let's
but
talk
Cody,
about it.
if Connor or let's pick
Oh my
one.
God!
Any of the girls, if any of the girls came up, Daddy, batted their eyelashes, I want to go to Texas, and that's where you want to go to college, they want to go to college, but they only want to go to Texas. They're sweet talking you, batting their eyes.
I get it. They didn't make
and
the,
you knew
they didn't
there
make
was
the grades
and-
to cut it.
Oh well, you knew there was a way to get them to Texas. Even if you had, now you have money, like you got your thing going on, it ain't gonna hurt you bank wise.
Right.
Are you cutting that check?
That's hard to say, man. I would have to say no because you're committing fraud.
The moment you're on a phone call with a guy going, the FBI is investigating me,
Right.
and you just need to say that you donated to a fund.
Yeah.
You've got to be like, I'm out on this.
Right.
Like, I'm out. And listen, I'm not acting like I'm some sort of like,
But
clean.
ultimately, I mean, you have to say no to this. You can't even like
You're gonna tell your girls no.
yes,
donate a
you have
building.
to.
Don't donate a building
Hey,
to the
you know what?
University of Texas.
This is part of a bigger conversation. I don't think college is even freaking required.
Oh, we're not.
Thank you.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And
Yes.
I
Not even
I
required.
don't know about. Did you go to finish college all the way?
I finished college when I was 2 years old.
Chuck,
All right,
let's go back
33
to what
years
you
old.
just said. She was one of the daughters, Lori Loughlin's daughters, was part of what? All these different businesses. She was what do you call them? Not
well, I mean, it was like legit makeup, like Sephora or
Yeah.
Ulta or something.
Yeah, she was like a
some
cover girl or
clothing.
something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
what's the word for them? God, it's so popular.
Spokesperson?
No, not spokesperson.
This is like charades right
Yeah.
We've I'm sure you
Two words,
ambassadors,
two
now.
words.
Like a
Okay, there
brand
you go.
ambassador.
and brand ambassador.
Okay.
Okay.
She makes money being a brand ambassador for these companies. She didn't need college.
No.
She didn't need college.
Well,
The bigger question is college even freaking required in like 5
what
years?
people are picking her on?
I don't think so.
What people are picking
And I think
on,
people are
on the
figuring that
daughter
out.
for is because she did an interview August, September. Like she's a freshman, so she just started.
Yeah.
And she straight up said, "Y'all know I'm not going for the grades. I just want to go to the tailgates and party."
Of course, she was on a yacht when all this
But
went down.
Yes, she was on the yacht like
Of,
with
like, the
one of
dean
the
or
of, like the
something.
dean or the admissions guy when everything broke loose.
Exactly.
Man, I'm sorry. Listen, if I had millions and millions of dollars and my kid came to me and goes, I can do 99 things, but the one that I can't, which is go to college, is what I want, I would go, I'm sorry. I've provided the best life I can for you.
Yeah.
Go do the 99 things. Go be a brand ambassador. You want to go be a rapper. I don't care what you
Right.
want to be.
Exactly.
Go do that thing.
Right.
I don't know at what point.
I agree with
And
that.
I set Cody up for that. I was just picking
No,
on him.
I know you did.
There's no way in hell I would.
Listen,
Bigger picture here
yeah.
is college even a requirement in the next few years? Like, are people really still
Parents-
desiring
we can
to
go
to
on and on
college?
this.
I know,
Like,
I know.
But
Parents love their kids.
Yeah.
I get that, right? You want to see them feel successful, and you want them to feel confident, and all of that kind of stuff.
And it's an experience.
And I mean, listen, there's people that donate buildings to
Yeah.
the university. They go and they build
Right.
a new science center.
Right.
Go do that, and then let her apply. And if she gets turned down, you go knock on someone's door and you go, "Listen, I donated a building."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, man,
Yeah.
you can let my kid in.
It's one person.
Yes, yeah. I don't need somebody to make her think that she scored the 1580 on
no,
the
I,
SAT.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I was
no
joking.
way.
I was setting Cody up. But there's no
I know.
way.
There's no way.
I'm all about earning your spot. So I would be one of the ones that, like, if I legit had a chance to go to USC or be on a soccer team for whatever college or person that was, and didn't get it and then found out, because some of these people are suing
Yeah.
because their kid didn't get the scholarship or didn't get admitted even though they meant. I would be that person. I'd be like, hey, my kid put in the work.
Or not going at all,
uh,
having hands-on experience and having real-life experiences and traveling, and then you develop what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Hey, man, Richland Thunder Ducks. You know what I'm saying? Richland Thunder Ducks.
No
I-
idea.
I am
No
lost.
idea.
Richland Community College, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's
That's
where
where
I
Ryan
come
went.
from.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I hit them all, bro.
Wait, say that again?
Eastfield. I was an Eastfield Harvester, Quad C Cougars, Richland Thunder Duck. Man, I made the tour.
A thunder duck.
Let's see. I was what's PJC? What are they?
Oh,
Dragons. So I had
Sure.
I had UTA Mavericks, PJC Dragons, Blinn. Damn, I don't even know what
Blinn.
Blinn
What was
was.
Blinn is the I wish I was an Aggie. That was their, that's their mascot.
yeah, that's what it was. And then the Lions, I guess, Commerce.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
I went to Blinn and got the A&M Commerce. Figured that tie out.
Blinn the Gig Who's
Oh.
instead of Gig Ums.
Oh man, you're hating on a lot of people right now. It didn't bother me because the major I was going after, A&M didn't offer it. So if anything, I was going to Blinn to live down there, and then I was actually going to go to Sam Houston or something.
Hey,
so I wasn't. But
a good time.
But I lived in College Station. I was a part of it.
No
like,
judgment.
I know how it goes.
No judgment. I turned 21 in College Station, and I loved every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Right on.
There you
Yeah,
go. That's
it was
all
a
that
good.
matters.
It was a good weekend.
No one
That's-
goes there to go to school. Everyone goes there to. They.
My
if-
point exactly. What is
anything-
college for?
If anything, you're going to A&M so you can get your college ring by downing a pitcher of beer.
Okay,
That's it.
Thank you.
So,
Yep.
But
Segment over.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cut.
I will give a little bit of love to A&M real quick before we completely
Right on,
cut
yeah.
out of this.
Go ahead.
The A&M band is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, and this is coming from a United States Marine.
I'll agree with that.
Watching them storm the field like they're about to take Iwo Jima,
And to feel that stadium shift like it does.
Oh, my
have you ever-
gosh.
have you ever experienced that?
insane.
Okay.
It's insane.
It's
Yeah.
nuts.
It's nuts. Okay.
So
Okay, so here's the deal, boys. I'm cutting out. All right.
all right,
Peace
Ryan's
out.
done.
I appreciate the heck out of both of you guys.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Y'all have got
Thank-
just
thank you.
faces full of freedom, and I love that about
we
you.
couldn't ask for a better
No, thank you so much for coming on.
first guest, however you want to call it. We couldn't ask
We've
for a
set
better
the
guest.
bar for Ryan. This is his first podcast, so the
we did-
bar's set.
we did set the
He,
bar.
Yeah.
he doesn't know how good or bad that bar is, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's set.
I was expecting at least like I don't know some sort of a hors d'oeuvre or something, and all I got was
Some
this.
beard products. I got you.
I got a half-eaten hot dog.
Yeah, we don't have the best spread. We got a day old hot dog from QT. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was.
Or
I got a little bit of heartburn and some gas, but I'm okay. Thank you guys.
But
We got a whiskey education, too,
Yeah,
so I appreciate
absolutely,
that.
man. I've been going to town at Yellow
And
Rose.
the coasters, like I said, we'll post. We're gonna post all the things that Ryan brought us tonight. Beautiful leather work. We can't talk about Ryan's work enough. It's beautiful. He makes it all by hand. That makes it even more special. Check him out on Instagram. The website unionleather.co.
.co.
And follow him on Instagram for sure. And watch his live videos. He's hilarious. I love him. Solid dude. Ryan, thanks for being here.
Yeah, man.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Preach.
All right.
Appreciate it. Preach. Later, y'all.
Peace. Hey guys, real quick, I want to talk about Beard Supply. Beard Supply produces all-natural beard care products inspired by adventure to help keep your beard healthy, soft, tamed, and itch-free. We carry a wide range of products, anywhere from beard oils, beard balms, beard soap, wash, mustache wax, grooming tools, and kits. You name it. If it helps your beard feel better and look stronger, we have it. For a limited time, use code MDC Podcast to receive 20% off your first purchase. That's MDC Podcast, no spaces. Go to beardsupply.com and take advantage now. That's beardsupply.com. Beard care for a wild life.
All right, so that was Ryan Wheat, Union Leather Company.
Dude.
Awesome.
Solid
awesome.
guy.
Yeah. So now we're gonna roll into sports. You know, you get it every episode from us. Big week. We could cover a lot of stuff, but NFL free agency opened. There was a few big trades going on, so let's jump into those. I'm gonna go basically importance, and then the big one we'll talk about last. Nate, our good friend Nate. We discussed this. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or not. Nick Foles signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What you think about that, Nate?
So, and not only signed with them, like he got a 3-year deal. So this ain't one and done. He got a 3-year deal.
I think we had previous conversations about Nick Foles not getting any more than 1 year.
Yeah, and I think we even called it like I think we said him or Eli was probably going to go to the Jags.
Okay.
Because somebody was.
We need to go back and check.
They were going to get a quarterback. So they got their man, Nick Foles.
I think he earned that, man.
Yeah,
Honestly,
for sure. I don't now. Do I think he'll be good or like be any better than Bortles? He may be a little better.
Yeah.
But I just think he worked well in Philadelphia. So Nick Foles to the Jags. We'll see what happens. The other quarterback movement is Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was actually today. Signed with the Miami Dolphins. So they're switching up quarterbacks. They got rid of Tannehill. And they're putting in the bearded Fitzpatrick, Harvard man. Ooh. So I always thought he should get a longer. But the thing with him is he has like a few games of magic, and then he kind of craps out. So I always thought he should get a real shot. So it looks like they're going to slot him in until they figure out a long-term solution. The other one, so we've talked about the Steelers saga over and over and over again. Le'Veon Bell, free agency, he signed with the New York Jets. Does it pique your interest any?
Whoa.
Yeah.
New York Jets?
Yeah, with the Jets.
I don't even know what to think about that.
I don't know. I just like when big skill players move because it impacts
I feel like
fantasy.
the Jets have been out of the question for quite a.
I mean, for a while.
Quite a while
They're
now.
with Ryan as the coach. They went to the AFC Championship games a few times, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't know. I guess if I have to root for an AFC team, I kind of do like the Jets, but they suck for the most part.
Yeah.
So I like Bell. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know if they'll do any better or not, but maybe it's the first building block of anyone taking out the Patriots in that division because that's been crap. But forget about that. The headline news of the week, which was awesome. This is good for Cowboys, and this is good for the NFL in general. OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., the Giants trade him to the Cleveland Browns.
Mind blown.
Who are instantly, I mean, they already were like, I'm buying into them. Now, all in. I watched Hard Knocks last year. It was so entertaining. I don't like Oklahoma, but
They were still building in the Hard Knocks phase, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but they
weren't shit.
They had just gotten Jarvis Landry,
Yeah.
I always thought he was, just from a fantasy standpoint, he catches balls.
Solid receiver.
Yes, absolutely.
Love him.
And they have Myles Garrett, so he's A&M guy,
Yeah.
beast on the defense. And I'm not an Oklahoma fan, but I am a Baker Mayfield fan. So them having Baker Mayfield, and then he showed a lot of good shit last year when he finally got put in. Now you throw in OBJ, it's on.
That's insane.
That's my AFC team. Like, I cannot wait to watch the Browns play football.
I mean, what other receiver powerhouse do you have in the NFL other than that right now? You don't.
I can't think of.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything close.
Jarvis and OBJ.
Yeah, and
the
they got
same field.
and they also Baker Mayfield's throwing them, so they got the quarterback. They got 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
and Njoku's the tight end, who's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
and they got Nick Chubb, who blew up last year when he got the start.
They're already being not voted, projected to win the NFC.
No, they're calling it like the Madden roster. Like if you can't build this in real life, like and
it's always Cleveland. Like freaking Cleveland landed LeBron because he's from LeBron. From Cleveland.
They've been so crappy of a sports town. All of a sudden, the last few years, LeBron with Cleveland and the Indians won the World Series. But I think most importantly to everyone there, the Browns are. It looks like they got something going on, and everyone talks about OBJ being like a malcontent or bad attitude. On top of anything, I think him and Jarvis Landry grew up together. I want to say they played.
You see that?
They're like best friends.
Did you see that photo? The like rookie. I think it was pre.
I didn't
college
see that
photo. Oh yeah, it's like when OBJ has no beard and Jarvis Landry. They're both. It looks like they're both in high school. I'll have to find that
they've been friends forever. They're like best friends. Like grew up and. So OBJ has like his dude there. So I think they are set. It's going to be awesome. Again, NFL never sleeps, but we could have had a whole lot of topics. We didn't want to go too long on it. But that is it for this episode of Modern Dude Chat.
Dude.
Once again, we cannot thank Ryan enough for coming on with us. Oh, yeah, Cody showed me that, So I have seen it somewhere else, but that picture of OBJ and Jarvis Landry.
This is from high school to LSU.
Yeah, okay, so they did go to high school.
To LSU. Oh, I think they meant to say from high school. Okay, from high school to LSU to Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they
both played at LSU.
They got their dudes, like they're set, but
dope, dude.
That's crazy. But again, Ryan, thank you so much from Union Leather.
Go check him out.
Go check him out. Go check out his Instagram. Go check out his website. Pick you up something. Again, if you can find the Yellow Rose whiskey pack with his coasters, get it. These things are the bomb. They're badass. But again, that's it for Modern Dude Chat this week. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe on Instagram, Twitter, at Modern Dude Chat. Again,
Screenshot that episode and put it in your story and tag us. Otherwise, we're not going to know you're listening, and you don't get that free sticker and coaster that we're giving away every week.
Yeah, so. and giving away every week. And speaking of giveaway, again, we teased it. We're starting to get the pieces together. We are going to have a big giveaway coming up soon. Listen for that.
Huge.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Modern Chuck.
You can find me at Cody Murph, CodyMurf, Instagram and Twitter.
That's going to do it for this week. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.